All right, all right. I'm gonna bring myself into this craziness here. Hey, everybody, what's happening? My name is Brannon Beliso. Welcome to Together We Can. School owners all over the world joining us Facebook Live right here at Zoom. Why am I here on a Sunday afternoon after just serving the community? I was out passing out free masks via the Millbrae Lions Club because I think it's very important as a business to keep giving back no matter what financial duress we're under, no matter what the situation may be. I believe leadership, we need to be the best example for people to follow. So I stood out there in my one martial arts gear, handing out masks to people as they came up in their cars. And that is a powerful thing. I think you can only keep what you have by giving it away. And that's really important, especially now more than ever, where we're feeling this sense of scarcity, right? Where we're feeling that belt tightening around us money wise. To be able to still give shows a sign of gratitude, shows a sign that you have faith that this too shall pass, and you want to keep doing what you always do. I share that a lot when I work with clients. Good economy, bad economy. If you read the book Good to Great by Jim Collins, he talks about that a lot. No matter what the economy may be, good economy, bad economy, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. He's mindful that what a business that's sustainable and growth oriented and successful is that business that stays true to its values, right? Doesn't matter. Good economy, bad economy, what products are out. So it's the same thing here. My wife signed us up to do this, and it's consistent with our values as people, right? I'm pretty beat up and tired. I got to start it all again tomorrow. We're doing 100 private lessons a week virtually. We're doing close to 40 group classes online. So it's pretty intense. I mean, we are in a battle. We're in a fight for our lives. I believe that. And so I think it's really prudent and important to keep your values in place no matter how weary we become. Cool. So this is Together We Can. And I truly believe that. I posted that from the very first day of this thing back on March 16th when they shut us down. That the only way I'm going to get through this is with my family, with my team, with supportive community, with giving back to the martial arts industry. And as we figure these things out together, we'll figure them out. Okay. So K1, we're going to kind of bounce back and forth here. Let's see if we can do that. We've got a question right away. I think it's from, who's that from, K1? And let's bring them on because I know we can trust Bob. We've had some crazy people on here Zoom bombing us, but let's see if we can split the screen between Bob and I. Thank you. There you go, Bob. Why don't you open that
Hey,
up
how's it going?
and let me open this up too and see if I can hear Bob because that would be a good thing, right? I need to hear Bob. Yeah. Hey, Bob, can you say something, sir?
Hey, how's it going today?
I'm excellent. Thank you so
How are
much,
you?
Bob, sir. Go ahead and share with us what's going on for you.
All right, I run my school out of a recreation center in Philadelphia, and the recreation center it's small. It's on the small side. I'm afraid that when it comes time to all the other schools to come back, the city isn't going to let me to come. Isn't going to let me come back just for the reason that's so small. And then with the parents, with the 6 feet away from each other, uh, it may not end up working out well for me.
Okay, so let me ask this first question: is do you have data that tells you they're not going to let you open?
I do not. I know you're very data driven. I do not have data yet, but every time I ask the guy who runs the recreation department, I say to him, I'm like, "What are you guys doing for your summer camp? Because I want to be a part of it." I don't know yet.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, "All right, well, when do you think I'm coming back?" I don't know yet. I said, "Have you talked to anybody?" He's like, "No one talks. No one talks to me."
Yeah, that's very real, Bob. We get the same thing here all the
Hmm.
time. We get the I don't know. I think what I would do is try to create different models. Let's say hypothetically, they decide like what they're looking at here maybe is that when the next wave of essential workers go back to work, that they're going to allow
Hmm.
day camps, the park and recreation center, these things that parents need because they don't have a babysitter at home. So they need to
Yeah.
go back to work, right? They absolutely need to go
Yeah.
back to work. So they're looking at day camps as being an essential part of learning. So let me empower you on this one. Let's say hypothetically, they're going to allow you to open in the next 2 weeks. What can you
Hmm.
do to prepare for that? What can you do?
I can get down. I can get down in the area. I could flyer the area. I could talk to my existing students. I have a small demo team. We can get out. We can do demos at the playground. just small little things that aren't going to cost really me aren't going to cost me anything other than my time,
Yes, sir.
and which
Yes,
that's
sir.
fine.
That's wonderful. The first thing we did when we got note of this from the governor that potentially weeks, not days, I mean, days, not weeks now, that they're going to allow us to do day camps and they're going to open the park and rec camps and things like that because these essential parents have nobody to watch the kids, right? Nor could they
Yeah,
afford that type of full-time childcare. So the first thing we did was we sent an email. I put out our e-newsletter yesterday and it asked that question really point blank. It looks like potentially we may be able to offer summer day camps. So if that is the case and we can offer it safely within the guidelines prescribed by the CDC, the WHO, and our local government, which of our parents would need this camp? Email us at
yeah.
support@onemartialarts.com. And we've already gotten a bunch of people saying, yes, we need it. So depending upon what the conditions are, 12 people in a room, 10 of those are kids, 2 of those are counselors, 6 feet apart, masks, no masks, shoes, no shoes, socks, no socks, we're going to mobilize. I've already bought tons of masks, which I'm doing now, right? We've doubled up on looking for sources for sanitizer, things like that, strategizing. Right? Everybody keeps their own stuff in their own backpack. They get their
Hmm.
own food. What games can we play? Battleship they can play, right? Each kid has a battleship. They never touch each other, right? Kids are
Yeah.
kids. So we're going to have to make 6 by 6 squares on this floor for them to sit in because you can't
Okay.
ask
Yeah.
a kid to stay on a dot. But if you put a big square on the floor, they can abide by that. Now, one of the luxuries you may have if you're able to do this through the park and rec is you can do an outdoor camp all day.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as the kids
We have
aren't
a
getting
hockey.
sun. Right. That's the
There's
next
a
question.
hockey rink, basketball, anything. I can even
Right.
teach karate.
Right. Right. And
Whatever.
if it's not too hot, Bob, and they allow you to do that through the park and rec, when we go use the park, we have to get a permit from the park and
Yeah.
rec to bring our kids to the park. But if you're already
Hmm.
tied into the park and rec, the first person who's going to know is you.
Yeah.
Especially if you know somebody within the park and rec. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't count that out yet. I know with the uncertainty, it makes us doubtful, right? We get fearful. We go, God, I may not been able to do this until the fall. But unless you have data that tells you you can't do it to the fall, then I would be looking best case scenario always. So I would start planning your games now. What can you do versus what can you do, right? Because that's empowering. That's empowering,
Yeah.
right? If we're waiting around for the government or the CDC, well, we don't know because it changes second by second. So I would do that, Bob. I would sit down and go, what are cool games? What can we do? Another one we said was Simon.
Yeah.
Simon, the sequencing game. You have a Simon, I
Yeah.
have a Simon. I do my, you do yours. I do mine, I do yours. Whoever messes up, the other guy gets the point. We start all over. What games can we do? We talked about dodgeball, where the counselor would throw the ball, a kid against the wall, and how many times you get hit out of 5 times. That's your score, right? That's your
Hmm.
score. And then we'd be wiping down balls in between. So we're looking at all these different scenarios, but, and how can we make that a relevant camp? What does that look like? Right? What
Yeah.
does that look like?
And
Somebody said they're going to split it in shifts, a morning shift and an afternoon shift. My challenge with that is if I'm a working parent, I need you all day.
yeah.
I don't need you from 8 to 12. Well, it's not fair. We want to accommodate everybody. Well, this next wave of essential workers coming in, Bob, we don't know who they're going to be exactly,
Yeah.
who that group is. But if it does, then those are the first people we offer camp to.
Yeah. That's like
So,
I said, I've
so
been
let's
part of
start
the.
with low hanging fruit, Bob. Let's go.
Mhm.
Let's write an email and put it out to your existing parents right now.
Okay.
Right now, I would do that and have your pricing and do something like, hey, we want to see if this is even something you want. And
Yeah.
if they say, yes, we do, we're going to need it because, we think we're going to be part of the next group going back to work, then you can begin strategizing based upon that.
Hmm.
Yeah, in
That
worst
sounds
case
good.
scenario, they say no. And if they say no,
Yeah.
hopefully you continue. Are you doing virtual learning?
Yeah. I started. I'm trying to think. I taught my last class on the 13th. I started on the 16th. I started teaching
Wonderful.
virtual classes, 3
Wonderful.
classes a day.
Wonderful. Are you offering any of the free private lessons, the 15-minute private lessons?
I am.
Wonderful.
I was watching your stuff. I'm like, that's a really good idea.
Thank you.
Only advantage you have over me is it's just me. Like
I understand that.
I
Yeah.
have other instructors, but they're in school during the day. Like I have like 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds. So they're doing their virtual learning during the day, and I try to capitalize on them at night if they're available. But most of the
Wonderful.
time, it's just me teaching.
Okay, so the scenario for that, somebody asked me, they said, it looks like we're going to be opening. What is your strategy with one or two instructors? Well, number one, because the kids are home all day, because they're out of school, right? In general, you could do virtual privates from 9 to 12,
Yeah,
take lunch until 1 o'clock, do virtual classes from 1 to 4, and then run whatever live
yeah.
classes they're allowing you to run from 4 o'clock on. Yeah, yeah. I share that all the time.
Sounds good. That sounds.
When I started out, Bob, I did 17-hour days, 7 days a week for the first 5 years of my
Mhm.
business. And it's the same thing now. I'm working 17-hour days, 7 days a week right now.
I hear you.
Yeah. And it's all
I've
good.
been doing mine in the parks. I've been doing mine in the recreation centers for, I think it's 13 years
Good
now.
for you.
They've been fantastic to me.
Good for you.
But sometimes it's harder during the day. Where you have younger kids, I have a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 10-year-old. So I got to try and make sure I get their stuff done.
Absolutely.
In addition to teaching all my classes. And then my wife's, she's actually testing people for COVID every day at her hospital.
Oh, wow.
So it kind of gets mixed up a little bit.
Of course it is.
So when I do the privates, I might be able to do 2 on Monday, but then I could do 8 on Tuesday. And it all depends on how the schedule goes with my boys and my wife. That's the only
Correct.
inconsistency that I have going.
Well, it's kind of like what I said to my team the other day. I mean, if when all is done and said, we lose it all, we've done the best we can. I mean, I wouldn't want to go to war with anybody else but the tribe I've got. We've been working hard. And if God says we're not supposed to do this anymore, then we're not. And that's just the way it's going to go. But I would have no regrets. I mean, we're working so hard. We're working smart. We're pivoting. And we're quite verbal about that. You see all my posts, all my videos. So I'm proud of the team. And if you know you're doing the best you can with what you've been given, Bob, then you should look at yourself in the mirror
I'm,
and be proud of yourself.
I'm kicking butt harder than I've kicked butt in years.
Good for you,
Having
sir.
to do the online stuff, I'm good with websites, and I'm good in obviously teaching martial arts for so long. I'm good in front of groups of people. I could do this all day. It's, you know what I mean? It's just now it's just finding the time. Whereas before I'd be like, all right, I would lesson plan, and then I would teach at night. Now I'm trying to get everything all situated.
Sir. Yes, sir.
I'm going to bed late, kind of like you are every night.
3 in the morning every night.
Yeah.
Yeah. All righty, sir. Well, I hope that helps. Good luck. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Thank you, Brad. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
You got it, sir. Absolutely. All right. What's the next question we got, K1? Anybody over at Facebook, just type them in. Let me know what their questions are. Put them in. I see a lot of people with us here at Zoom. Let me check that. I know I'm kind of bouncing there. There you go. Hey, Eric, what's happening? Danny, sir. Melanie, man, what's up? Sensei Adam. Cool, cool, cool. David Diaz. Cool. So go ahead and share with me what questions that you have. I can see them coming up in the chat there. Go ahead and put them in. So our strategy is we come into week 7. Here's the one thing we know for sure. He's saying weeks now instead of months. Potentially we have essential workers going back to work, right? And that means potentially we can offer day camps. What I agree with Master Kim, Grandmaster Kim, he's in the ASA group, is that we don't want to open prematurely. I think that's really important. I know we're desperate. I know we want to make money. I know we want to stop the bleeding, but I think it's important to also earn the trust of the community. And I remember as we were closing, we went through that process of 1,000, 500, 250, 100, 50, and it still said we could run 25. And we were running a camp, and one of the parents came hard at me, and they said, that's irresponsible. They've closed the schools. You shouldn't be doing a camp, blah, blah, blah. I said, hey, if the CDC says I can be open, CDC says I can be open, if the county says I can be open, we're going to be open. They tell us to close our doors, we will close our doors. But that wasn't good enough for her. But it really made me reflect, over the past 7 weeks, that I want to make sure that I'm not throwing a Hail Mary pass, that I'm opening prematurely, simply because we want to stop the bleeding and we want to make money. So with that said, we're strategizing. What does that look like? And that's all I'm asking everybody to do, is that you should look at every scenario possible. from best case to worst case, and be prepared for all of them. And that means creating these different business models, right? I was reading it last night. One of the pandemic models are this thing's going to come back in the fall and we're going to be shut down in November. Next one says a vaccine comes out and everybody's happy. Next one says, there's all these different models and they're all hypothetical. Even though they're based upon data, they're still hypothetical. Why? Because we've never been here. We've never gone through this like this. Okay? So I want you to be mindful of that. And empowerment is really about being able to be an action taker. Being a better version of yourself is about being an action taker. We all know that, right? We know that in our hearts. And it's a very helpless feeling when you feel handcuffed to the point and you're paralyzed where you want to scream out, this is a fascist country and my first right amendment. I get that. I get that. We all feel that way. But I want to make sure that what I plan for as a smart business owner, as a successful entrepreneur, is I have the vision to see what that looks like 6 months down the road in the way my business is viewed within the community. And so I took it to heart. Even though we followed all the guidelines, that parent ended up pulling her 2 kids out of our school, and we had a couple conversations back and forth, and they were very kind. It wasn't like it was just she felt one way, I felt the other, right? And she told me, we love your school, but I don't believe, we share the same philosophy. And I said, that's cool, right? That was all right. But she was very respectful. So, never take that out of context. And I was very grateful for that. So it made me sit and think. So I want to make sure that when we open the right way, right? The right way. And what is that like for a kid who's used to running in here, giving an instructor a high five? Now he's got to come in here wearing a mask, and we got to, disinfect this kid when he walks through the door, and we can stand 10 feet away and go virtual high five. So I think making sure that we don't do that prematurely to create the best experience when people come back through the door is really important. Is really important. So be mindful of that, because you can make this knee-jerk decision and end up hurting your business 6 months down the road because of it. Imagine if somebody came up positive in your facility. Now you're closed down. Now you got to disinfect. You probably got to get all these clearance from the county, health and board, and that's a different day also, right? So we want to be very mindful of that. Cool. All right. So let's bring the next person in from. Is that David Diaz? Who is that? One question from David Diaz. Is that David Diaz or Eric Roach? You want to bring David on? I'd love to talk to David if he's here with us, sir. Bring him in, K1. And we don't have any Zoom trolls this week. Last week we did this, and a couple people bombed us, and makes me scratch my head. That people have time and energy to do that. 2 different ones. Okay, pick one, K1. Pick one. Let Eric in or David in. Either one's fine. Who's coming in? You got someone for me, K1 there?
So they're on Facebook.
They're on Facebook. Okay, thanks, K1. Thank you, sir. All right, so the first one is from David Diaz. Have you already had a virtual testing at either of your schools? How do you do sparring and board breaking? How do you get around that? Are you replacing that with other things? Very good point, sir. We've facilitated belt testing for both facilities. We've delivered well over 300 belts, and we still have more. I look over there, and there's still a whole table of them. So we're still testing. It takes us a whole month to get through our students. And what I recommend is somebody actually sent the belt. They delivered the belt and they delivered a board with it. Then they gave instructions to the parents via Zoom. They had a Zoom conference, how to hold the board and do all that. So I think that's very positive. As far as the sparring goes, I'd wait till the next cycle, the next one after that, when they're back in your school. I mean, is it really going to be detrimental to a yellow belt moving up to his next belt if he doesn't demonstrate sparring for his test? I think not. You'll get them 6 months down the line in another test. They will spar, and it shouldn't make or break. You have to pivot in this case. The board you can deliver. You can do a Zoom meeting with all the parents to show them how to hold the board so nobody gets hurt, right, and how to practice that. But as far as sparring goes, I've seen the virtual sparring. For me, it doesn't translate. If I'm standing here like this and I throw a technique at your face and you don't move out of the way, I get a point. It doesn't translate well for me, but other people seem like they're very happy with the virtual sparring. So you can do that. They can spar one of your instructors, right? And then somebody can call virtual points. But I don't know. That's kind of like playing Madden football versus being on the field. I just don't think it translates the same for us. So that's my solution for that. So yes, you can do the boards, but I think as far as the sparring goes, that's something I would do down the road when they come back. Cool? Cool. Eric, let's see Eric's question. We are scheduling virtual and testing. Any advice on how to organize groups one-on-one? Facebook questions. Good. Thank you very much, Eric, sir. Okay, so we're wrapping up testing now. Right away when we set up our virtual classes, we have levels. Level 1 has 3 belts, which is year 1. Level 2 has 3 belt levels. But remember, we're in rotating curriculum, so everybody's doing the same thing. Year 3 has a set of curriculum. Year 4 has a set of curriculum. So even though there's 3 belts in year 1, they're all doing the same curriculum. So the way we've facilitated that the whole month long, we have a belt coloring sheet that we send out to the kids via email. And as we're testing them, and as we call out, you have passed, they color in the stripe on their belt. When they're done when coloring all 6 stripes, we do a fitness test. After the fitness test, they color in the belt with the one they have on currently. Yeah, I kept saying, let's do next month's belt, but my guys kept saying visually, that doesn't make sense. The belt they have right now with the stripes on that belt is not the new belt. It's their old belt with 6 stripes. Made sense to me. We communicate the same point. So what we do is when we start a class after the warm up, the match out, and the stretch, we say, okay, we're going to test today on yellow stripe 13. I'm going to do it with you 3 times and go over it and review it. Then I'm going to call out testing. So we'd review it with them. We do it with them 3 times. We watch them do it. We make some corrections. Then we physically tell them, okay, right now is testing time. You practice that move over and over at a level 10 as if you were testing, and we will grade you. Then we have 2 or 3 instructors. So we have 3 sets of eyes. Say we have a screen with 25 kids. We divide that up into what? 8, 8, and 9. And this guy's looking at these 8. This guy's looking at these 8. This guy's looking at these 9. And it's his job to grade them out. And he'll physically write down who passes and who doesn't. And then we'll say, okay, great. Now you got your stripe, you got your stripe, you got your stripe. Make sure you color in yellow stripe 13. And if they didn't pass, and this is very important for retention and otherwise, Johnny, it needs a little more work, sir. What I would like you to do is please schedule that virtual 15-minute free private lesson. And then we'll make sure you earn that stripe. All right? Can you tell that to Dad right now? Boom, Dad whips out the phone, schedules it through my studio, and he books the virtual private. We've actually decided, and this is powerful, you might consider this too, is keeping on your virtual private lessons, that 15-minute private lesson. I can see retention-wise where that's going to be very powerful. Have you ever wrapped up the class and this kid goes, hey, can I test on my stripe? Can I really test on it now? Can I do that now? And you're trying to get your way into another class, right? On the flip side, I've been working with a group and this kid's not getting it and he's not earning a stripe. And I see that dad sitting there with his arms folded, his jaw clenching up, and he's just not happy, right? Because his kid doesn't have the blackest feathers in the room and he's not the coolest. Dad's going, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. This sucks. We're going to quit, right? Now, if I'm sitting there as a parent and I see that my child is challenged, now that I've experienced this in the virtual learning environment, I just pick up my phone, schedule a 15-minute private, and I feel as a parent, I've taken action, right, to help my child. Positive action. So I'm really enjoying that, and I think it's something we're going to keep on indefinitely. And on the flip side, I can be running a class and going, hey, Dad, we want to make sure Johnny's, fully gets this. Go ahead and schedule that 15-minute private. Okay, sir? Make sure you do that, and we'll take care of it. Boom. Done day. Done day. So I think it's really going to help with retention and create a new level of service in our schools. And that's how we facilitated it. And then when they're completely done with their belt testing sheet and it's all colored in, sir, they take a screenshot and they send it to us at support@onemartialarts.com. We print a certificate, the belt, and all the life skills badges that they've earned over the past 6 weeks, and we hand deliver the belt. People said, you delivered belts. All those people were well over 300 already. Yes. Because we really truly felt it was a higher level of service. We really did. And we just got nothing but positive response from our tribe and our community that, wow, you guys are taking time out of your day because they know how hard we're working to deliver those belts. Again, that added value, it's unprecedented, sir. So I hope that works for you. All right, next question. Go ahead and type it in chat, or K1, if you have that question, go ahead and put it in there. Put it in. So Like Bob is saying, hey, I'm a very data-driven guy. That's because I'm extremely emotional. I live by my heart. If you know me by now, if you follow me, I live by my heart. So data is the yin to my yang. And data was something that Tulay really, Tulay's my good buddy. Love him dearly. He's the creator and founder of my studio, owns 5 locations at Encourage Martial Arts. But he reminded me, data is something that really dictates what we do. Right? If we think of something like Facebook, this is a data mined business. All of our data of us personally and live, it's here. It's recorded. Everyone knows what I'm doing right now, Sunday at 3 o'clock, because the data is out there to prove that. So data is really important in the decision-making process. And I know what's making it very hard for people right now is that the data is sketchy. The data changes from minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day. And I get that. But nonetheless, that's where the ability to pivot and adapt is really to your advantage as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur. Just like I said to Bob, I would be planning for camps anyways. And worst case scenario, it doesn't happen. Best case scenario, you're ready. You're ready to implement and make this happen, right? Question is, we are doing 15-minute privates as well. Do you do it weekly? Well, honestly, Melanie, we thought about that. I don't want to police that. So are there people doing more than one 15-minute private lesson a week? There are a couple, but you know what? If it keeps them as a student and it keeps them enrolled and they feel empowered, I'll bring one more person on. We got the PPP in San Francisco, which gives us a little bit of playroom with our payroll. So we're looking forward to bringing some of our team back. Yeah. And we got the PPP in Millbrae for San Francisco, but we turned it down because you can't take 2 PPPs. But we hope to get the PPP in Millbrae, and we'll utilize that as well, right? And that's a payment protection program. Yeah, so I wouldn't police that. I would let them pick as many as they'd like. If someone's being really chronic with that and doing, a private lesson every day, I might be very kind and shoot them an email or phone call and just say, excuse me, ma'am, we are encouraging people. We love that you're taking advantage of these private lessons, but we're encouraging people to only schedule one a week, in all fairness, so everybody can get a private. Something really loving and sweet to support that, and that should be fine. But honestly, we don't really have that challenge. I think people are being pretty respectful for that in our school. But yeah, we're doing 100 privates a week. You know what's doing really well for us, Melanie, is that we're doing our paid private lessons. We billed out over $5,000 in April, and somebody else just bought a new private lesson card today for $650. So that really helps, and that really makes up. I think we got one guy, he's doing a private lesson 5 days a week for an hour. Then he has private lessons for his son for an hour, I think, and for his 2 younger ones. So, I mean, he paid us close to over $2,000 in the month of April. I'll take that any day right now, because we need it, right? We need it. So I hope that answers that question. Francesco, pricing and growing online classes. Okay, so honestly, we've spent the better part of 6 weeks, Francesco, really focusing on taking care of our tribe. We really, really, really have. We really have. Really have. Because I understand when this thing is done and over, there will be a certain virtual revenue stream, I think, in the shape of private lessons. And we hope to be able to do makeup classes that way, meaning to say at least once a week we'll have a virtual class for year 1 students. Once a week we'll have a virtual class for year 2. Now this is when this thing is fully over. My thought, my strategy is we're running side by side at least through the new year. Because what happens if this thing rears its ugly head in the fall, like one of the models predict? I want to know virtual is full steam ahead, it's strong, it's in place. One guy said to me, I'm pulling virtual altogether. That way it'll force everybody back into my school. And I said, well, sir, the first thing I'm going to do is take a survey. When he took his survey, he found out over half of his parents won't come back right away. So I'm encouraging everybody, please keep the virtual learning running side by side with your live classes until they're fully integrated, right? It's kind of like that visual I use in my coaching. There's a lot of people, and I'm going to say it is dysfunctional. You want to get out of this relationship here, but you hold on to the relationship, that hand, until you got a full grip on this hand here. And when you got a full grip on this hand, they're not going to let go. Boom. You let go of that bad relationship. Well, I would do the same thing here. I'm going to hold on to virtual classes as long as I can until I got a full grip on live classes and they're running full with no masks, no separation. We can play freaking dodgeball and run business as usual because that's what they paid you for. That's what they long for. And that's where we need to get back to eventually. Eventually. But until that time, simultaneously, man, group classes and virtual side by side. Because honestly, we have it dialed in. I did a thing on Friday and a school owner was talking. I have kids with ADD and ADHD that are performing a million times better in a virtual private. Ding, 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 new revenue stream, right? New revenue stream. So that was very positive. And we've had students that are actually doing better in the virtual privates than they did in the group class. Or maybe that means we suck as instructors, right? Live. But I don't think that's the case. I just really believe some people thrive better in that virtual environment from the safety and comfort of their home, right? They can drop their guard. They're not filled with anxiety being in a room with other kids, and they're able to perform better. So I really believe the virtual lessons are here to stay, and it's something we're going to continue to grow and capitalize on, right? We definitely are. We definitely are. So we're going to run them side by side. Cool? Next question. So in relationship to pricing, let me get into that, Francesco. Here's what I've seen that I believe are huge mistakes. One guy decided because he wanted to serve the community, God bless his soul, that he was just going to do martial arts for free. Wasn't going to charge anybody. He closed within a month. So I don't think that's a good choice. Another guy decided to cut his prices in half because he believed that virtual learning was nowhere as good as live classes, so he cut it in half. And now financially, he's having some challenges. We went in it with this mindset from day one. We want to charge full price. Full price for us twice a week is $209. For $209, you can come to 2 45-minute classes a week. Okay? Great. So here we are, 2 live classes, $209 value. What can we do to create more value where that parent in all good faith and consciousness will pay us $209 a month? Well, number one, we have more group classes so they can attend more classes. Number two, which has been really the game changer for us, has been the free complimentary 15-minute private lessons. Why? Because I, as a parent, have never had that luxury. I've never had that added value where I can just whip out my phone and book a free complimentary 15 private lesson. So that's been huge. And then, of course, from day one, we've really focused on doing what we're supposed to do, and that's administering curriculum, making sure people are earning their stripes, and they're earning their belts on time. I'm very grateful that April was belt testing month. Because if I'm coming up to your house or one of my team members are with your belt, with your certificate, with your badges, wow. And I've been taking 15-minute private lessons. Wow. And I've been coming to more than 2 group classes a week. Wow. And I'm actually beginning to trust this virtual. My kid is learning. My kid is excelling. And I get downtime for 45 minutes or, how much time I spend in martial arts a week. I'm working with one private lesson. Honestly, this kid is thriving so much better in his private lesson than they possibly could in a live class. So we kept our pricing the same, sir, and we will continue to do that. Why? Why, Francesco? Because let's say I'm paying you $209 a month. We're grooving along with virtual, and then I look and you're charging this guy, $99 a month, and he's getting everything I get. I don't think that's cool. See, so it's the reverse psychology, right? People tend to shower the discounts, shower the people that are new in the school. My mindset is, no, let's take care of the people that we have. So anybody wants to join this tribe and be part of it, then they need to pay like everybody else. Now, Francesco, let's say we get to the point where we've got these full-on live classes again. Everybody's happy. No masks, no shoes. We're sparring. All that's going on. Yes, that will be $209. And this person here who only wants to train virtually, then maybe at that point we will consider the lower rate. And I've studied all the fitness business models. I understand that because of our fitness kickboxing, which we launched. It's a whole different price point, right? Which we have over 55 schools have joined us and the band played on. So I understand the fitness model. I've been studying that model inside and out. They're the billion-dollar industry. We're over here and all that. So I get that. I understand that, but I think for what we're doing, Francesco, I would stay with your price point, but I would invest all my time, learning, effort into really understanding the virtual environment. I mean, listen to my mic signal right now, right? Isn't this a clear signal, everybody? Look at my picture. I've got lights, cameras. We're running through an audio interface. I understand virtually it's sound and light. I mean, sound and visual. So visually, it must look good. Sound-wise, it must sound good. Then, of course, minicam, using that. If I punch with this hand right now, what hand would you punch with? Your right hand, right? Well, if I wasn't using minicam where it flips my image, you'd punch with your left hand and the band played on. See, so again, keeping going after these different things to better what we do has been vital. We bought ASCAP and BMI licensing so I can run popular songs in my class, not some weird dub beat from something that nobody cares about. I want to run popular music because it's the highest level of service. But when you play a song a kid knows and he's bopping in class, that's better than some weird thing you got for free, that's unlicensed, from some other service. So again, looking at that and doing it better than anybody is really what you need to do. I wouldn't change my pricing at this point. I know that's a lot of information, but I don't want to just give you a blanket answer, right? Bob, we give all our stripes during our private lessons. My students love the privates. Good, 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 good. What's our next question, K1? Go ahead and put it in there. Let me know. Let me know. So collectively, as we enter week 7, the things I would be looking at already, which we are, is we're looking at potential camps. What does that look like? What does that look like? What are the 3 or 4 different business models? Well, we're not going to stop our virtual schedule. That's full steam ahead. So what does that mean? Run camps in San Francisco if they let us and keep Millbrae closed as virtual studios. We're weighing that out too. Again, it'll depend upon the survey we get from our parents. And if I got, 20, 30 parents knocking down our door for camps in Millbrae, then we will rearrange these studios. And maybe we'll move them all to San Francisco and keep that closed down. Because San Francisco is just a little behind our location in Millbrae as far as scheduling and stuff and what they're allowing and what they're not allowing. But what I would do is just play out every scenario. What does that look like for you, right? What does that look like? Well, if I stood outside, which I did the other night, I said, okay, 6 feet dots. Where do they go? Okay, parent pulls up. Kid gets out of the car. Thermal scan, right? How does that all look, right? When he comes into the school, is he going to have his own cubby? Yes, each cubby will be 6 feet apart. We're going to do that so they never cross each other. What's that system going to look like? All right, it's snack time. Everybody sitting in their 6x6 square? Great. Square number 1. Go get your snack and bring it back to your square and sit down. What's that going to look like? I believe the disinfecting time, the cleaning time, the hand washing time is going to take up a lot of your normal camp schedule. So I would start writing out those schedules now. What does that look like according to the CDC? Do we disinfect every 30 minutes, every 15 minutes? What? Because you know what? If you don't follow it to the T and somebody comes up sick in your facility, that's a potential lawsuit. And I hope all of you have cameras in your facility like we do so everybody can see what's going on here. And that's going to be a big one. I want people to have trust. So I'm even thinking of what would that look like if I was able to set up a camera that my parents could see what we're doing any time of the day. Wow, that's a lot of trust, right? So as a parent could be sitting at work feeling a little anxious that my kid's in this camp, go into my phone, turn on the camera, and look at what's going on at One Martial Arts. That means we need to be on our toes. We need to be on point, right? We need to be so on point with that. So I want to be mindful of that as well. Again, just role play. Start from the parent driving up to the front of your school. Oh, wait, there's a system before that. Yes, there is. That system is I'm going to be bombarding my social media, sending my parents email, maybe even put out a document that they sign that here's the procedure. Because I don't want a kid just dropped off and the parent drives away and this kid comes up 100 degrees, right? And we have to call that parent back. I think they need to be pre-framed for success. Hey, parents, here's our new procedure in the new norm. Step number 1, if it's necessary, text our phone and let us know you're at the curb, right? Whatever that means, right? We're going to put somebody out there. So somebody drives up, the kid gets out, we thermal scan. If they're cool, then they go into our line that's spaced out 6 feet apart. Then we let them into the school one at a time so that we don't have them cross-contaminating, right? They're going to come into the school one at a time. We're going to have them put their stuff in their cubby. We're going to have them wash their hands and do all the sanitation necessary. Then we're going to sit them in their square. What does that look like? I'm the first one here sitting in my freaking 6x6 square. What does that look like? Well, we're going to pre-package our Legos into individual bags with enough interesting pieces and everything so they don't cross-contaminate Legos. Kids love Legos, right? And we're going to make individual bags that will have, and that's the one you play with all week. You don't play with any other buddy's bag but that bag. That bag is your bag. And that might even mean a little bin next to their 6x6x6 area. Oh, see, maybe that's even better. Oh, I'm thinking out loud. That's why I love doing these things. Maybe what I'm going to do is on the outside of everyone's 6x6x6 bin, we will put a plastic bin. In that plastic bin will be your Legos, the books you bring, because you can no longer read our books. You know how much it would be how much time it would be to clean every book every night? You bring your own books. They sit there with you. You bring your own snacks, et cetera, so we don't cross-contaminate. And so we're role-playing. We're thinking about these different things right now so that we can plan effectively for our camps, right? Because that's what we're looking at in week 7. Potentially in the next couple of weeks, right, we may be able to provide that service. But as the team and I discussed, we are not going to provide that service unless we know we can do it safely in the healthiest, safe environment possible. And of course, bringing back the right staffing to facilitate. Cool? Cool. So let's see how we're doing on time. We got about 10 more minutes, K1. I know we got people at Facebook Live. We have people here. Go ahead and put in your thoughts, your comments, questions that you might have. Thinking out loud is important for me. I can only keep what I have by giving it away. So already I just figured, wow, okay, maybe each kid needs an individual bin. I like that. I saw a guy today who was at Home Depot and he bought a bunch of those 5-gallon plastic paint things. Because you know what they're going to do? Bucket drumming. I think that's cool. Nobody touches each other, but we can still interact. You put down the bass. You hit. All right, you hit. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. That's your section. We can have a whole fun music class and make different music parts. So I'm already looking at that, right? Bob, how are you cleaning mats on the breaks? Well, that's a really good question, Bob. And this is what we've come down to. We can't use disinfectant wipes because we're going to blow through them really quickly. What we're using is good old-fashioned hot water with pine sol. We're putting on gloves and we're physically wiping down people's areas, taking home, and again, we're using rags for this, right? And you know, as long as it's wet and it's got the pine sol, and there's nothing living on this rag from everything I've read. So we're physically going to wipe down people's stations, you know, in between beats. Okay, you're going to sit outside your circle, but we have to watch, you know, again, the smell. We don't want people to get nauseated. What does that all look like? Can we take the 12 kids outside, park them 6 feet apart, play charades out there on the sidewalk while we wipe down their area and let the smell get out? Again, but we're going to clean it with hot water, and we're going to use Lysol or Pine Sol, which kills 99.9% of the germs. That's what we're going to use. Yeah, because we're blowing through disinfectant wipes right now, and there's only 4 or 5 people in here doing virtual privates. So that's not going to make a lot of sense. We've also looked at alternatives like water and vinegar. That's accessible. That's easy. That works really well. Another thing was alcohol, right? Alcohol does the same thing. So we're looking at these different alternatives, but we will clean. That is a must. That is a must. Yep. Yep. But we want to do it efficiently, right, Bob? We have to do it quickly and efficiently. So I think that's the other variable you're looking at. I don't want to nauseate these kids and use some toxic smelling stuff, but what can I use here to clean efficiently and quickly? Suppose you give them a list of things that they need and they bring their own bin. Yeah, we can potentially do that too. But I think good service would be to supply the bin, right? I would say supply the bin. Or if not, you know, maybe they have a bin. That way we don't cross-contaminate and we just wipe down this plastic bin when they get here. Yeah, that could work too, Bob. Again, budgeting is really important, but I don't want to overwhelm a parent and burden them in that process. So I've already started looking at bins online because even if you have your stuff in one of our cubbies, it would be better and safer if all your stuff went into a bin and we put a lid on it and then stuck it into the bin, right? But I do like the idea so that we reduce the amount of movement of them crossing each other, of putting the bin outside their 6 by 6. We're going to get blue painter's tape and physically put 6 by 6 spaces on the floor, right? On the floor. We can play rock, paper, scissors, right? We can do that at a distance. We can play 007, that other game kids like. We can do music, right? We can do freeze dance. We can do charades, right? We can have a demo team. These 3 squares against these 2 squares in a demo team. On and on. I mean, there's again, if we work with what we've been given instead of complaining what we don't have, the potential is unlimited. It really is. It is. Cool. Any other questions? Go ahead and put them in. Otherwise, we begin to wrap this thing up. So as we come into week 7, here's all the things we've done. We wrote the letters to the landlord, took care of that. We got half rent in SF for April and May. We have to pay the rest back though. And Millbrae said, pay your rent. And I want to pay my rent to both them as much as I can because I want the relationship to be strong later when it's time to renegotiate leases and things like that. Now, if I absolutely can't pay it, I won't pay it. We have a letter here in Millbrae that the county just issued saying your landlord cannot evict you, all those different things. So that's on the table as well. We got the PPP for San Francisco. We haven't gotten it for Millbrae, but we will. I believe we will. I refinanced my home down to 3% because interest rates were really, really good. So we managed to do that too, and that looks like that one's just about wrapped up. We've assessed how much money we have, how long we can survive. I've looked into my lines of credit, and we have those all. So we're short up for about 6 to 8 months is what I was last told by my bookkeeper, right? That's if we make no money. Right, if we can hang on, and right now we've lost a lot of revenue, but last month we did $70,000, which is what we normally do at least in one location. We did that in 2, but our bills are 90, so we only had to go into our savings of 20,000. We were able to make most of our bills. We're not profiting anything, but we're breaking even. We're breaking even, and that's why people said, "Wow, you know, how can you be that casual, dude? Your rent in Millbrae's 15,000, San Francisco's 12,000." Look at Danny's going, "Oh my God." Crazy bills, right, Danny? But you know, the thing about this is I want to do it right because I'm going to be here a long, long time. And that's why I took 2 hours out of my day today and I stood there with my mask. And as people came in, I took their name, address, and phone number and said, you get your masks over there, you know, with the Millbrae Lions Club. And we were giving out masks. And see, that's what you got to do. You got to let people know that no matter what, right? We learned that in fighting. I mean, my instructor, one of my instructors was Rick Alamany. He would fight you in the ring and smile at you. That's a bad day, man. Anybody that smiles at you when they're fighting you, that's not a good day. That means he don't care about getting hit or nothing, you know, because he's too busy hitting you, right? So that's, I think it's really important right now is to have that game face. I'm afraid like everybody. I feel the uncertainty. I feel the fear, but I don't let it stop me from doing what needs to get done. And that's the big thing that challenges me right now. A lot of people are paralyzed. A lot of people are depressed. Well, you know, that's a choice. That's a choice. Get up, get off your bum, get out there, you know, get some air, go for a walk, do what you got to do. And I think that's the big difference. I don't have any more knowledge than you do. This is a first for all of us. I'm just simply doing while other people are whining. That's the only difference. And if I do it and it doesn't work, I do something else. And then I do something else. And I do something else. And that's it. That's it. I'm not any smarter. I'm not any braver. I'm not any better than anybody. The only difference is we're willing to do it. We're willing to fight. We're willing to work, you know, smart, very smart in everything that we do. And that's the big difference here. A lot of people just sat there going, this sucks. I was talking to a guy today that's just starting virtual tomorrow. Just starting virtual tomorrow. And I had nothing to say. All I did was try to help him get set up. I didn't even want to go into that conversation of why didn't you start this 6 weeks ago? Didn't even have that. I just simply said, great, let me show you how to do Zoom. Let me how to do those things, you know, and I wish you the best. So that's where my head is today. And I'm grateful that everybody's here and that you're choosing to do this. Like I said, just play out every scenario, right? You can't fold, you can't bluff. This is the hand you've been dealt. Play it and play it to the best of your abilities. And I believe you'll come through the other side of this. Cool? All right, so I want to thank everybody today. Thank you to all my sponsors, My Studio, Market Muscles, Kids Love Life Skills, and LC Accounting. You know, if you need me, you know, you just go to my personal message anytime. I talk to people at 2 in the morning in England. I talk to people in Germany, Australia. We're in this together. I don't care what anybody says. We may not be in the same boat. I get that. But make no mistake, we are all in this thing together. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Hey, I'm Brannon Beliso. Thank you so much. God bless. You enjoy your Sunday. And until we talk again, you stay home, you go out, you live your best life.